Okay, today quick tutorial on how to add GitHub Authentication to our Lightning Rails boilerplate. So the only thing I did is I created a project following the getting started, and basically it's a blank project. So as a reminder, when we start our server and we go to, I already have a server here, let me close it. If we start our server and we go to localhost, we have our landing page, and if I try to log in, we'll have email and password, and this is something that personally as a user I hate. I don't use a password keychain or something, so I have to remember every password. I prefer to use authentications with apps, either Google or GitHub. So today we're going to do GitHub, which is much easier than Google actually. You don't have to do all these verifications and stuff. So first thing we're gonna do is we're going to copy a couple of gems in our gem file. So I'll go to gem file and I will add it somewhere around here. Okay, next step, always bundle install. Then I'm going to go to devise.rb because we're going to be using devise, and just modify a few options so that GitHub works. So let me find where it says GitHub here. So they already have something. Don't uncomment this one because we're going to write it a little bit different. Just replace it. Okay, so we're saying basically that they have to use Omniauth GitHub with a GitHub ID and a GitHub secret. So now we have to go fetch those GitHub ID and GitHub secret. So what you need to do is a little bit of a few steps here, but we're going to first open the developer settings in our app and create a new test app. So I'll call it GitHub development test. And I call it development because we will create a second app for production. Homepage URL, if I go back to the instructions here, they tell me, okay, localhost 3000 because it's development. Okay, then we can add the test app. This is the test app in development, so I don't really need a good description for it. And then we need authorization callback. And in here, the documentation is giving it to us. So I'll just copy paste it inside. Okay, we can't use GitHub. Good to know. So my app development test. Okay, I'll call it like that. Okay, so now we're registered and we have a client ID. First thing I'm gonna do, as specified here, is to go to my env file and add it. Okay, it's here, and now I just need to replace. So I'll go to GitHub, copy this one, boom, and then the secret, generate new client secret, and I have it here. I just added my authentication code. Very likely it will ask you to add authentication code. This I didn't save. Okay, so we have our keys. I don't really care about the application logo now because this is development, as I said. I'll add it for the production one. And let me just update this in case I change something. Okay, looks like we're good. Let me check so homepage URL, description, URL, and then add logo. Perfect. We have the keys. Now let's add a new route. So if we go to routes, I'm going to replace the device for users that I have here by default and add a new controller, which is going to be the Omniauth controller. So this controller doesn't exist, we have to create it. So luckily I have a few command lines here that make it much faster. I'm going fast to show you how easy it is actually to add all this stuff. The goal of this video is not really to teach you all the logic behind Omniauth, but more show you how fast we can add this feature. So I created the user's Omniauth callback controller. Let's check if it's got created correctly. So in app controllers users Omniauth is here. I'm going to copy paste the code, which is going to be our the logic that will check if the user is there. We're going to create one, otherwise we're going to just log in. And then we go to the model. So I will just use this code. So user.rb, we can see that in here they let you use Omniauthable. I will just replace this whole line. And we can see that we have Omniauth provider GitHub and Omniauthable as new lines. What's next? In the user.rb also we're going to add this method. Okay, so in here there is a few comments that you can uncomment if you want. GitHub gives you a little bit of information. You could use the GitHub username, for example, if you want to use it for giving access to a repo like I do with Lightning Rails. Or if you want the first name or the last name of the person, you can use these two data. Of course, you would need to do a migration in your database and add first name, last name, and you can call it GitHub username, for example. And then the second thing also you can do is to add the image, the avatar from GitHub, so that the user doesn't have to upload an image. We can use directly that avatar. So if you want that, you would just need to uncomment this line, and also only this line, and then add, as we can see on top here, has one attached. Lightning Rails already comes with the setup for Cloudinary. You just need to add your API key, very important, otherwise it's not gonna work. But if you have your API key, just uncomment this line, and you'll have images for your GitHub authentication. Cool. So we continue. Now we jump directly to the views. We'll go to sessions new here. I always take sessions new because by default, the before action authenticate user method redirects to the login, right, to the sessions new. And I don't want to lose that functionality. If someone tries to access a page that they need to be authenticated, I want them to be redirected to my GitHub sign up. So that's why I always do like so. I add my authentications to the sessions new. So I'll just replace the whole form by my GitHub button. You can make it look nicer if you want, change the text. Everything is saved, yes. And that's it. The setup is done. For production, we'll need to do something, the same process of creating a new different app. We'll call it production, for example. And then you just need to change the home page. Instead of being localhost, you're going to have your domain, like lightningrails.com, for example, and also the callback. And then the only thing you need to do is to set the GitHub keys to be the ones from production and not development in Heroku or whatever server provider you use. It's as easy as that. I'm not going to show this part today, but I'm going to check if our setup worked. So this is how it was before. Now let's reload. Okay, so now we have signing with GitHub. Nice little button. We can even say what you will use GitHub for. And then we click. They will ask us, okay, do you authorize this app? Yes, I do. Going to be redirected with a nice little message, successfully authenticated from GitHub account. Perfect. That's it. In less than 10 minutes, we managed to add GitHub authentication. Thank you for watching.